Good evening, students. So, we are at the last part of this chapter, that is control and the coordination. So, in today's class, we are discussing the some question answer which is related to this chapter and what we have studied in the last class. Okay. So, let's wait 2 minutes for students. Some students are joining. Okay. Let's start the chapter. So, in the last class, we have discussed some questions related to this chapter. So, let's continue that. Okay. So, while I'm showing the question and answer, or while explaining the question answer, please make the notes. Students, this is my request. Please make the notes. Please write down the notes and keep one notebook with you and make the important notes of this chapter. Okay. So simply don't watch the class and make the notes. Okay. Yes. So here the question is, what is the function of the receptors in our body? Think of the situation where receptors do not work properly. What problems likely to arise? So here you know that in our body there are different types of the receptors. So receptors are located at the our sense organs, right? So different receptors, they are located at our sense organs like ear, nose, tongue, and on the skin. So these are the sense organs. In these sense organs our receptors are, or you can say tongue also, our receptors are located. So here gustatory receptors, already I have explained that gustatory receptors will detect the taste. So these receptors present at the tongue, and olfactory receptors, they detect the smell, and some receptors on our skin, so they detect the touch, and the detectors or receptors which are present in our eyes, they detect the light, etc. So these are the receptors. Okay. Next, think of the situation where the receptors do not work properly. So in our nose, if the olfactory detectors are not working properly, so we are not able to get the smell, like that you can write. Okay. Note down the answer. Okay. So I hope completed. Anybody please confirm, is it completed or not? Okay. Okay. Read the next question. How does chemical coordination occur in plants? So in plants, how the chemical coordination So that is because of the presence of the hormones, right? So these hormones, they help for the chemical coordination in the plants. So that you have to write. You know that plants do not have the nervous system for the chemical coordination. Plants respond to the stimuli by showing the movements. The growth and development responses to the environment in plants is controlled and coordinated by the special chemicals called as hormones. Okay, so this is just an introduction part. um, Plants, they do not have the nervous system, you know that. And how the chemical coordination takes place in plant, so that is because of the presence of the some hormones. Chemical coordination, that is because of some hormones. Okay, so write down these points. We'll go to the next point after completing this. Okay.
Over, ma'am.
Okay, so next point, these hormones are produced in one part of the plant body and are translocated to the needy parts. Means the different hormones, these are the chemicals, they are synthesized in the particular part of the plant body and they are translocated. For example, hormone produced in roots is translocated other parts when required. So this is the example. So here five major types of the phytohormones, means plant hormones, are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinin, and the abscisic acid. So here about ethylene, that is there is no there is not given in your textbook. Okay, ethylene is not mentioned in your textbook, but you can write that. These hormones, they help for the growth of the plants. Auxins, gibberellins, and cytokinins, they are helping for the growth of the plant, and abscisic acid, that is the growth inhibitor. So here how the chemical coordination occur in plants, so for that you should include this point also. Hormones produced in the different part of the plant body and translocated to the needy part. So here you have to write the hormones, plant hormones name, major plant hormones names, that is auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid. Okay, no need to write this ethylene, but you can mention that. And these are the, so in this, some hormones, they are helping for the growth of the plant, and the abscisic acid, that inhibit the growth of the plant. Okay, so like that you should write the answer. So note down the points. Yes.
Complete, ma'am.
Okay. How does phototropism occur in plant? Anybody, please tell me what is phototropism? Anybody, please give me the answer. What is phototropism? Phototrophism. Yes, anybody? So, don't know? Okay, let me explain. Phototropism means movement of the plant body, that is towards the light. Photo means light. So, towards the light. So, the aerial parts of the plant body that is growing. So for example, these stem and shoots, they are growing towards the sunlight. So it is called as a phototropism. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, the growth movement in plant in response to the light stimulus. So that is a growth movement. The phototropism, that is the growth movement that is response to the light stimulus. Here stimulus is the light, is known as a phototropism. So like this also you can write the answer. Here these shoots show positive phototropism, but roots show the negative phototropism. What do you mean by positive phototropism and the negative phototropism? What do you mean by positive phototropism and the negative phototropism?
Cells of the grow longer.
No. Positive phototropism means anybody? Okay. So here there is a root in a plant, and listen carefully. This is the shoot of the plant. Okay. So this is the aerial stem and the leaves part of the plant. And here there is a sunlight. Okay.
Okay.
These aerial part means the stem and leaves, they are growing towards the sunlight. Okay. So they are moving towards the sunlight. So sunlight ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಗ್ರೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Sunlight ಯಾವ ಕಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ growth ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So that is called as positive phototropism. Okay. So then observe the root. Is it growing towards the sunlight? Is it growing towards the sunlight?
Yes, ma'am.
Roots are growing towards the sunlight. Roots, what I'm asking, listen, these roots are growing towards the sunlight. No, they are growing opposite side of the sunlight. So ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರತ್ತೆ, ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರತ್ತೆ. ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಕಡೆ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗತ್ತಾ ರೂಟ್ಸ್? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಕಡೆ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ phototropism. The roots show negative phototropism.
Okay.
Listen this. Got the point?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So this growth of the plant towards the sunlight is called as a positive phototropism, and the roots of the plants, they are growing away from the sunlight, that is called as a negative phototropism. Okay. So here photo means light. Okay. So phototropism means that is the stimulus is the light. So note down the answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Mute your audio. So while giving the answer only, you can unmute. Okay. Please mute your audio. Something Radhika is there. Okay. Yes, I hope this is completed. See the next question. Which signals will get disrupted in case of this spinal cord injury? You know that. So when you touch the hot vessel or something happened unexpectedly, so then what happens? There is a neurons, they carry the messages to the which part of the brain? That is to the spinal cord. So they are called as sensory neurons. Through the neurons, the the message is transferred to the spinal cord, right? So I hope you know the answer. Which signals will get disrupted? So if the spinal cord is injured, so which signal is get disrupted? So see the answer. The reflex arc connection between the input and the output nerves meet the spinal cord. So there are two types of the neurons, that is sensory neurons, and the one more type is the motor neurons, right? Sensory neurons and motor neurons. These sensory neurons, they carry the message, means input it is called. They carry the messages to the spinal cord, and that response is carried by the motor neurons. Okay. So this spinal cord that meets the sensory neurons and the motor neurons, both input and the output nerves. These sensory neurons are called input neurons, and motor neurons, they are the output neurons. Okay. So this spinal cord meet that point. In fact, the nerves from all over the body meet in a bundle in a spinal cord on their way to the brain. So all the nerves from our body, so they also meet the spinal cord. Not only these two neurons, not only motor neurons and the sensory neurons meet the spinal cord, all the nerves, they meet the spinal cord on their way to the brain. So all the nerves, they are connected to the brain to send the message and to receive the response. But through the spinal cord, they are connected. In case of any injury to the spinal cord, the signals coming from the nerves as well as signals coming to the receptors will be disrupted. Means this spinal cord is very important part. Means signals are coming, means from the from the neurons, the signals are coming to our brain. So brain ಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೈನಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಥ್ರೂನೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಇಂದ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಸೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೈನಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಥ್ರೂನೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ will be disrupted. Okay, so write the note down the answer. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay.
Over, ma'am.
Okay. So see the next question. What is the need for a system of control and coordination in an organism? So why it should be there? Control and coordination. So what is the need of the control and coordination? You know that. So in our body, control and coordination system is there. So brain, spinal cord and nervous system totally. So that is controlling our body, right? And the hormones. So answer is controlled movement must be connected to the recognition of various events in the environment. So control and coordination system is needed for our body. So what is the reason? Because when the changes occur in the environment, so environmentally change agide ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So that is connected with the changes that occur in the environment. Okay, so in the other words, living organism must use the systems providing control and coordination. So control and coordination ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು? living organisms ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So here multicellular organisms, specialized tissues are used to provide these control and coordination activities. Means here neurons and the nervous system, so that is used for the control and coordination activity. In animals, so it is also provided by the nervous and muscular tissues. Especially in animals, nervous and muscular tissues are used for the control and coordination. Note down the answer. Okay. So is that completed? I hope this is complete. This one is completed. Complete ಆಯ್ತಾ? Anybody please confirm, is that completed or not? Okay. Here, how are involuntary actions and reflex actions are different from each other? So see the question. You should write the difference between the involuntary actions and the reflex action. What do you mean by involuntary actions? Can you give the example for that?
Actions.
What do you mean by involuntary actions? Anybody? Involuntary actions ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? So these involuntary actions means they are not under our control. For example, heartbeat. Is it in our control?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, heartbeat is in our control. I can control the heartbeat. Is that right? Huh? Involuntary, for example, movement of the hand. So that is in my control. I can move how I wanted. So in that way I can move these hands and legs. But movement of the heart and the movement in the digestive system, so is that in my control? No, it is not in my control, right? So that is called as a involuntary actions. Okay, is that clear? Involuntary actions and voluntary actions. Voluntary actions means running and movement of the hands like that. So that is in our control. So ನಮ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅದು. ನಾನು ಬೇಕಾದಾಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೈ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಕಾಲಿನ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ವಾಲಂಟರಿ. ಬಟ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಬೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತಾ? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದಾಗೆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಬೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಬೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ that is the involuntary action. Please mute your audio. Yeah. So here, involuntary actions are, they are not in our control. So it is not controlled by our will. And the reflex actions, they are sudden actions. So sudden actions, when you touch the hot vessel, so suddenly you are taking your hands back. That is the sudden action. That is called as a reflex action. And these are controlled by medulla of our brain. So which part of the brain is controlling the involuntary action? That is medulla of our brain. And the reflex action is controlled by the spinal cord. Okay, so that is by the spinal cord. Okay, write down the answer. So while writing the difference, you should make the two columns like this and write the answer. Okay, so note down the answer, students. Don't watch the class, simply make some notes that will be useful for you later. Okay, so is that completed? Students, my request, please don't unmute your audio while not giving the answer. So while giving the answer only, please unmute your audio. Okay, otherwise keep it mute only. Okay, mute ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಡಿಯೋನ, because it is disturbing for the class and the other students also. So ನಾನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Is that completed? Anybody please confirm? Okay. See the next question. Compare and contrast nervous and hormonal mechanism for the control and coordination in animals. So you have to write the difference between the nervous mechanism and the hormonal mechanism, how the nervous system is working and how the hormonal system is working. So here in the nervous system, neurons are there, right? So information is conducted in the form of electrical impulse. So electrical impulse through ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಈಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್. ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹಿಯರ್, if you touch the hot vessel or any hot things, so suddenly you will take your hand back. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಥ್ರೂ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ನ್ಯೂರಾನ್ಸ್, ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ದ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ when you see the something which is not fair, ಸೊ ಆ ತರ ಆದಾಗ ನೀವು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನನ್ನೋ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಏನೋ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಅಡ್ರಿನಲಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಲ್ ಆಕ್ಷನ್. And neurons provide point to point contact for the transmission of the message. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನ್ಯೂರಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಫಾರ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯೂರಾನ್ಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಅ ಬಾಡಿ ಬೈ ಬ್ಲಡ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಬೈ ದ blood throughout our body. So here nervous mechanism, message travels rapidly, means very fastly, but message travels very slowly. Nervous mechanism, effect of message continues for a very short period, means very short time is required for the nervous mechanism, but effect of message remains for a longer duration. Okay, so like this you should write the difference. Please note down the points, note down the difference, nervous mechanism and the hormonal mechanism difference. ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇದನ್ನ, ಸುಮ್ನೆ ವಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ.
Complete, ma'am.
Okay. So next question is, so 12th one, right? So what is the difference between the manner in which movements takes place in sensitive plant and the movement in our legs? So here, what they're asking, movement takes place in the sensitive plant, that is the touch me not plant, and the movement in our legs. So what is the difference you observe that you should write? First thing, movement in the sensitive plants. How the movements in the sensitive plant like touch me not plant occurs? Anybody, can you explain how the movement takes place in these plants?
When I touch, it's close.
Yes, when you touch that, it closes. So why it closes? What is the reason behind this?
I know.
Yes.
I don't know, ma'am.
Okay. Because when you touch that plant, they releases some chemicals. Okay, so that chemicals, what they will do, they will help to move out the water from that cells of the leaves. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ leaves ಇರತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಆ leaves cells ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಟಚ್ ದಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್, so when you are touching that plant, so that is causing release of the chemicals, that chemicals, so that is causing the movement of the water that is outside the cells of the leaves. So that is causing the drooping of the leaves. So leaves ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ತರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So here, for this movement, information transmitted from the cell to cell by the electric chemical signals, means chemicals are released, and so there is no specialized tissue for the conduction of the impulse. Plants ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರತ್ತಾ, ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇರತ್ತಾ? ನರ್ವಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
Yes.
Is there nervous system in plant's body like us? No, there is no nervous system, there is no neurons in the plant's body, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So write down the answer.
Ma'am, stimulus mean?
That is the touch. Okay, so for example, stimulus means when you touch that plant, so that is the stimulus. Light is the stimulus, means that is some changes occur in the environment, that is called as the stimulus.
Okay, ma'am.
Then movement in our legs. So how it occurs, movement in our legs? So movement in our legs, that is a voluntary action, right? And the signal or the messages for this action, so that are passed through the brain, so that is, so it is controlled by us. So ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಲೆಗ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಇಂದ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ವಾಲಂಟರಿ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಹುದು, ಅದರ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಮಸಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್, some proteins are found which allow the movement to occur. So in the animal muscles, so some proteins are there, so that proteins, they are helping for the movement of the legs. So this is how the movement of our legs and the movement in the touch sensitive plant is different. Okay, so note down these points.
Over, ma'am.
Okay. So up to here, what we discussed, that is the questions which is given in the NCERT textbook. So next we are discussing the questions which are given or which are asked in previous year question paper. Okay, please note down the important questions and answer, because repeatedly these questions are asked in the previous year question papers. Okay, so in that, first question is: draw the diagram showing the structure of human brain and label the following parts: midbrain and the pons. So this is very, very, very important question. So the diagram of the brain, that is asked in the 5 out of 4 question paper. Okay, so if you refer 5 to 6 question paper, in all the question paper, so this diagram is asked. So there is a probability of asking this question in your board exam is 99.99%. So this question may be asked in your exam, board exam. Okay, so start practicing the diagram of the human brain. So in different exam they will ask to label the different parts. Okay, so in some exam they will ask label the cerebellum or medulla oblongata. So any different parts they will ask. So practice all these parts with the diagram. Okay, so how you
Ma'am,
should
Pons drawing ಯಾವುದು?
pons ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. So this is the pons. So pons drawing separate ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So
Okay.
you should draw the brain. So in the brain, so that is the parts. Midbrain and the pons are the parts of the brain. So they will ask to label these parts. Okay, so ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಲೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ. So draw the diagram of the brain. So try to draw this diagram, because out of, I told no already, in if you refer 5 question paper, so in 5 out of 5 or 4, in 4 question paper, this question is asked for the 3 marks as a 3 marks. So or for more marks also it may ask. Okay, so practice this. And all the labelings here: cerebrum, so this is the cerebrum, and the cranium, midbrain, and so these are the forebrain part, right? And the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, so this is the pituitary gland, and the pons, medulla, and cerebellum, so these are the parts of the hind brain. So these all parts are very important. So be particular with the drawing and the labeling. Okay, so ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಲೇಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು 1 2 ಅಥವಾ 3 ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಲೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಡ್ರಾ ದ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡ್ರಾ ದ ಔಟ್ಲೈನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಔಟ್ಲೈನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೆನ್ so like this you can add the midbrain structure. So itara. Okay, so practice this diagram. So try to draw this now. Draw ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ try ಮಾಡಿ. And if you don't know how to draw this diagram, practice it. Okay, so practice ಮಾಡಿ, daily practice ಮಾಡಿ. If you start the practice from today, so it will be perfect within the month. Within your midterm exam it will be get perfect. So midterm exam ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ perfect ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? So please practice this diagram. Or take it as a homework and draw it after the class. Okay, and practice it. Next question: as the growth advances in a climbing plant, that appears as the plant is moving towards a particular direction. How? So explain the necessity of chemical communication in animals. So for this question, uh, note down the question first. Second question, note down the question. So here what we can say, the climbing plant or creeper, so that appears as a plant is moving towards the particular direction. How? So because we can observe the aerial parts of the plants, they are growing towards the light, so in the particular direction they are growing. Note down the question. Okay, so here read this question. A person immediately starts running soon after observing a snake. So the person is observing the snake. The correct transmission of the path of the reflex impulse in this situation is. So how the reflex action is taking place in this situation? If the person is starts running soon as observing the snake. So snake ನೋಡಿದಾನೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ರನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ, ರಿಸಿಪ್ಟರ್, sensory neuron, brain, relay neuron, motor neuron, effector. Option B, receptor, sensory neuron, spinal cord, relay neuron, and motor neuron, effector. Okay. Then option C, effector, spinal cord, sensory neuron, relay neuron, and motor neuron, receptor. Option D, effector, motor neuron, relay neuron, brain, sensory neuron, and the receptor. So this question is asked in 2022 or 23 something. So like in this type of questions also may asked in your exam. So what is the answer here? Anybody? Option A, B, C, D. Which one is the correct answer? Yes. Option. So anybody tell me the answer, correct answer. So just I will show one picture. See here. So here there is a receptors, right? So there is a hot vessel. So receptors are there. So receptors are carried by these sensory neurons. And second, so it is reached to the spinal cord. In the spinal cord, there relay neurons are there, then spinal cord, and from the relay neurons it is carrying to the motor neurons and the effector. Okay, so in this way, so this message is carrying. Okay, so can you choose the correct answer now? So here you can eliminate the answer which is having the brain, because brain is not involved in this action, right? So you can eliminate this answer. So in option B and C, so first receptor should be there, right? Effector is at the end. So effector, so that is causing the action. But first should be, there is a receptor. Receptor, sensory neuron, spinal cord, relay neuron, motor neuron, and the effector. So that is the correct answer. Note down the question. Note down the question. Okay. Can I move the next slide?
Okay, ma'am, it's complete.
Okay. What is the role of abscisic acid in plants? Yes, what is the role of the abscisic acid in plant?
Ma'am, the leaves upper.
Yeah. So abscisic acids, they are called as growth inhibitors, right? So they are the growth inhibitors, means they control the growth of the plant, okay? And they also cause the wilting of the leaves, okay? So wilting of the leaves also caused by this abscisic acid. So this is the 1 marks question asked in your question paper, previous year question papers, okay? So abscisic acid, so that is called as a growth inhibitor, means that control the growth of the plant and also help for the wilting of the leaves. Note down the question. Completed?
Yes, ma'am, complete.
Okay. Next question. An example for positive geotropism. Geo means earth. Okay. So tropism means towards the earth. Geotropism. Okay. Here, example for the geotropism in plants. Growth of the shoot, growth of the roots into the deep soil, growth of the tendrils of the creepers, upwards growth of the roots. Yes, which is the correct answer? Anybody tell me the correct answer? Growth of the shoot is example for, that is the negative geotropism. So geo means earth, right? So towards the earth. So in a plant roots are growing towards the soil. So that is showing the positive geotropism. But this shoot of the plants, so that is showing the negative geotropism, means that is growing away from the earth. So it is negative geotropism. Growth of the roots into the soil, that is showing the positive geotropism. Growth of the tendrils of the creepers also showing the negative geotropism, and upward growth of their roots, so that is showing the negative geotropism. Okay, so here answer is growth of the roots into the deep soil. Yes, see the next question. Which hormone inhibits the growth of the plant? So just I told which acid, which hormone? Abscisic acid, right? Abscisic acid. So that is inhibiting the growth of the plants. Abscisic acid. So this is also 1 marks question. See the next question. Mention the function of the plant hormones. So this is also very, very important about the plant hormones. So they may ask the 1 marks question on this or 2 marks question on these plant hormones. Okay. Auxins and the cytokinin. So here note down the answer. Auxin synthesized at the shoot tip and help for the cells to grow longer. And cytokinins, they promote the cell division. So they increase the cell division and help for the, they are present in the fruits and seeds of the plants. So that is the answer. So note down the answer. Very important question. Note down this question.
Okay, ma'am.
I hope this one is completed.
Yes, ma'am, completed.
Okay. So here, the correct path movement of the nerve impulses in the following diagram. So what is this diagram? What is this?
It's neuron.
It's neuron, right? So here, how the messages transfer. So the correct pathway. So first, it is received by the dendrites, then it is moving in the cell body, then in the axon, then it will reach the ending, nerve endings, right? So you should write the correct pathway in a in this manner. Okay, so here P, that is the dendrite, R is the cell body, S is the axon, and Q is the nerve endings. So what is the correct pathway? So in this pathway they are transferring. So here P, then R. So here R is not there, so this is the not correct one. And
Ma'am,
Q
D is
first.
the correct.
Yes, D is the correct answer. Very good. Note down this question. And this diagram is also very important. That is also asked in the exam, different exam. So note down the diagram also. You can draw the diagram also, which is given in your NCERT textbook.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೇ ತರ ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಇದ್ಯಾವೆ?
ನೀವು ಲೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ನೀವು ನ್ಯೂರಾನ್ ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬೆಟರ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಲೈಕ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್. ಸೊ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆ ತರ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ದ ಲೇಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Okay. The incorrect statement related to the thyroxine hormone among the following is. So thyroxine hormone, that is secreted by the thyroid gland, right? So it regulates the fat metabolism. Its deficiency leads to the goiter. It is secreted by the parathyroid gland. Iodine in the food is essential for the production. So here what you should identify, incorrect statement you should identify. So thyroxine hormone is secreted by the which gland? Thyroid gland. Okay, so thyroid gland. Here see the option C, it is secreted by the parathyroid gland. So this is the wrong one. You should identify the incorrect statement, but remaining all are the correct statements. Okay, so it regulates the fat, protein, and the carbohydrate metabolism also. Its deficiency leads to the goiter. Iodine in the food essential for its production, thyroxine hormone production. So that is the correct answer. So see the next question. Here, column A and column B is given. You should match the column A with the column B. Correct answer with the column B. Okay. So here, prepares the body to deal with the situation. Regulates the metabolism for the body growth. Regulates the blood sugar level. Regulates the growth and development of the body. So here, the functions of the hormones are given. You should match with in the column B, the hormones are given. Okay, so you should match the correct hormone with the correct function. So here, anybody? Prepares the body to deal with the situation. So that is the which hormone? Adrenaline hormone. Regulates the metabolism for the body growth.
Growth hormone.
No.
Insulin.
Metabolism. Metabolism, that is just I told, that is the thyroxine hormone. Blood sugar level. Blood sugar level, that is maintained by which hormone? Insulin. Regulates the growth and development of the body. So this is the growth hormone. Okay, so very important, hormones and their functions, very important. Okay, so note down this. Next question. Name the given structure. What is the general function? Mention the function of the parts labeled A and B. These structures in animals are said to be more efficient to give quick response. Why? So here, the given structure. So what is the given structure? The name of the given structure, that is reflex arc, right? The name of the given structure, that is the reflex arc. And what is the function? What is the general function? So that helps for the quick action, right? So that is helping for the quick action. Mention the function of the parts labeled A and B. So A and B. So A is the sensory neuron. Sensory neuron carry the nerve impulses to the spinal cord, and B is that is the receptor. So receptor, that is the different receptors are there in our body, right? So B is the receptor. So through the neuron, it carries the message to the spinal cord. Okay, so like this you should write the answer for this question. Please note down the answer. Please note down the answer. So B is the effector, so not receptor. A is the sensory neuron and B is the effector, means where the actions, so where the actions will take place for this stimulus. Okay. So it gives the sudden response. Note down this question, very important. This is also asked in the old question paper.
Ma'am, diagram is the most important.
Yes, diagram is also important. Yes, so this is the last question in this session. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Any doubts? Doubts ಇದೆಯಾ? ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. And while reading this chapter, so that is also helpful. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll end this session. We'll meet in the next session. Okay.